I'm gonna get straight into the video, but I do want to give a quick disclaimer that I'm not saying to copy me or do anything that I did or that I'm making the right choices, but I'm just breaking it down to understand some people who might see my point of view or for someone who might need to hear this. Also, I know my room's dirty. I'm not gonna sit here and clean it and then act like my room was clean. It wasn't, so that's all also out the way. But yeah, so I ended up quitting I didn't quit yet. I put my 2 weeks in. Last night I put my 2 weeks in, and I've been at my job. It's a warehouse job. I've been there for about a year and a half now, and I never went there knowing that was going to be my. Went there knowing it was just a stepping stone for me to just get in, get out, get a little bit of money, save so I can buy more equipment, do whatever I want to do. I always wanted to focus on content primarily. That was always the dream and goal, and that job was kind of just a stepping stone to get there. And I knew that going in. But the reason I ended up putting my 2 weeks and the reason I'm making this video is because there's a lot that goes into that. Even though it's a stepping stone, it gets used so much as a hurdle, and it becomes more of a disservice to you than help, because you get comfortable there, you get comfortable doing this and that, and you get stuck feeling like you don't have if you were to leave. And when I first was working there, it was like, man, this job's kind of like, I can't wait to get out of here. Like, I'm only here for the money, this and that. And then after the first year, when I started genuinely thinking about actually leaving and started planning my escape, because the plan was to only be there for a year and a half, right? I've been there for probably around that exact amount of time, but the plan got misconstrued because the comfortability level. You start spending money, buying food, going out, doing this, getting clothes, whatever you're doing, and now you need consistent income to back that lifestyle. So before, when you don't have no money, you're not spending nothing, it's cool, you're used to that, that's your way of life. Once you start getting money and you start having it to go get the food you want, or having it to go do the things you want, go out with friends and do things like that, when that's taken away from you, it's kind of a shock factor. So now you need this to have a job to be able to afford that type of lifestyle, to continue to be doing that. And you know you can't do that without a job. So now you get this fear of leaving, and now you get this fear of, if this doesn't work out, what'll happen. And I was on the fence about that for like 3-4 months now, prior to working there for the year. At the year, I was like, yeah, I gotta get out of here. I made it in my notes at a year, get out. But I didn't. I stayed for like an extra half a year almost. I started in May. It's about to be July. Literally, it's about to be July. I'm recording this on June 25th. And I started on May 22nd. So, May, June, July. So yeah, I've been there for almost three months now, a year and 3 months. But regardless of that fact, right? When you want to do something, you got to really make that decision, because the only reason that was stopping me from genuinely leaving, because I wanted to, the only thing stopping me was the fear factor of what could happen, right? Because when I was unemployed and I was making content and having fun, just enjoying myself, learning how to do content, I had this fire, this motivation to just grind everything out every day. Every second counted, right? I was never the unemployed type that just didn't do nothing. If I was ever unemployed, I was grinding the hardest on content I ever did. I was streaming 150 hours a month. I was posting TikToks every day. I was doing all the above. There was never a day when I was just unemployed and I just was sitting on the couch all day. There was never a moment like that. So I needed that fire again to be able to invest in myself. And this is a third shift job, by the way, so all my energy is drained. Like, I wouldn't have the mornings. My body was being destroyed because I'm losing sleep and waking up earlier. The days, years go by way quicker because, like, my conscious level of what's happening, and I just knew it wasn't the fit for me. And it took a lot of crazy life experiences to hit me all at once for me to really realize, okay, I have to get out of here now. I have to repute. And I want to talk about this as well. People around you aren't going to understand that, and they're going to judge you for it, especially your coworkers. And I'm not saying that, they judge me super hard, but I could feel it. I could understand the concern, right? I've been there for a year, known these people for about a year now, or more than a year now. And throughout all the time of me being there, every day I come back, it's like a status quo. Everyone's so focused on their own lives and what is happening. When something changes, when something shifts out of that status quo, and that means the way things are just supposed to be, for those who don't know, status quo is like, this is just how it is. You go to work, come home, clock out. That's just how it is. Status quo. Cool. When something changes from that, it affects them and it affects other people because they're so used to that system, right? And what I mean by that is, you've been here for a year. We have a small team. It's probably like a team of 6 people. So they have to get new hires, all that stuff. The turnover rate is terrible, by the way. So when someone stays for over a year, that's like equivalent to being at another job for like, I don't know, 2-3 years. So the people who've already been there for multiple years on top of that, it's like that's just what it is. It's how it is. So when I'm leaving, everyone's asking me questions. Yo, what happened? Why are you leaving? This and that. If someone's going to leave a job, not all the time, but majority of the time, it's self-explanatory, right? Even if it isn't self-explanatory, you knowing the reason on why I'm leaving doesn't really change anything. The fact I'm still leaving, right? Now I get it. Maybe they just want to check it out, want to know, curiosity, cool. But it gets to a point where it's like, I'm sitting here answering questions like I'm some type of prisoner being interrogated. Yo, man, what happened? Why are you leaving? So what's happening in your life, man? Why don't you want to stay here? What do you got another job lined up? And they're asking me all these questions. I'm like, bro, no, I don't have another job lined up. I'm leaving because I want something new. I want something fresh. I want to restart. The new year is about to come. A lot of people are going to have New Year's resolutions. I'm getting ahead of mine. I'm already knowing I don't want this for my New Year's. I told myself, I was like, yeah. I told my mans, I was like, hey, I'm quitting my job on New Year's. Hold me to that. And don't let me like go back on that, because I actually need to get out and change that. Time's the biggest asset you have when you're trying to chase a dream and ambition, because you can't get that time back. A job will always be waiting for you. That same job will be waiting for me. If I do content for a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever, nothing works out, I fail, heaven forbid. And honestly, failure is not really an option, and you can't really fail unless you give up on yourself. But that's a story for another time. But let's just say, whatever, nothing works out, that job will still be there. I can call that job whenever. Hey, man, da, da, da. Like, whenever. But as you get older, you can't get that time back. Hey, yeah, let me take a year off to go focus on myself and making content and see how far I can get. No, you can't do that, bro. You're 45 already. You're like, you got bills to pay now. Now you need to get a job to do all this other stuff. You're supposed to do that when you're young. So I feel like that was like a crab in a barrel moment. It's more of like, and here's another thing too. I'm going to get into that crab in the barrel moment in a little bit. But when people are judging you, they don't understand. I'm not the type of dude to explain everything to everybody. I'll break down stuff to y'all clearly, because like this is what the channel's about. It's what communication is about over here, and just explaining my life story and just seeing what I can give people for people to resonate with. But when I'm telling them the reasoning behind everything, and they're questioning me, yo, you got a job lined up? Oh, you should have had another job lined up. I get that they're looking out, but people don't understand that their way of life being viewed at is not the same as others, right? They don't know I've been doing content the whole time I've been working at the job, and that the job has been draining me from all this, and that if I take this time off for myself, I can focus harder on content, all this other stuff, whatever, cool. They don't understand that. I'm not going to sit there in the break room and explain to them, nah, man, I don't want a job because I'm going to go all on this content. I'm not going to do all that. I'm just sitting there with an open ear listening to all the criticism or whatever it's called, like feedback that they're giving me. And I'm just shaking my head. I'm agreeing. But in my head, I'm really knowing that all of that is just air. Like, they're just talking nonsense right now. Like, I'm not hearing any. I'm listening, but I'm not really hearing it because I don't agree with that path. Like, if you know what you want, having a job, in my opinion, is a waste of time. And now I understand that. Because if you think about it this way, what does having a job truly get you? If you don't have a whole bunch, and everyone's situation is different. That's why I'm grateful for the position I'm in and the parents I have and all of that, because I'm given opportunity to chase something that most people won't get that opportunity to. You know, if you have bills, if you have things you have to take care of, and a job is mandatory for you, then clearly you're going to need to get a job. If a job is not mandatory in your life, all having a job does is take time away from your real passions if you don't know what it is, or if you do know what it is, especially if you know what it is, because now you could be doing that, but instead you're clocking in for someone else, which isn't horrible. If that's what your life goals is, that's fine. I'm not judging you. But if you know you want something else, you want to do something different, you're literally wasting your time. Because that's one thing you will not get back is your time. And you're wasting it doing something you know you don't want to do. If you know you want to do this, why are you doing this instead? Because you're going to go to the job, you're going to get money. Okay, cool. What are you going to spend your money on? Probably food, clothes, going out, doing things that you don't really need to be doing. Basically, you're gonna go get money to do things that just distract you and take you away from doing your goal driven purpose anyway. Anyway. So I'm going to clock in for 8 hours to then go outside and shop, which then takes time away from me making videos. So what really are you doing? And keep in mind, you're at a place you don't want to be. So I'm going somewhere I don't want to be to get money to do things I shouldn't be doing right now. You know? Like, there's so much more priority in chasing what you want versus just chasing a dollar purely to get a dollar. Here's the thing, too, about this, right? You have to change the mindset because, of course, everyone's ambition isn't going to just spawn money out of nowhere. But think about it this way. If you truly find your passion and you know that you're good at it or you really love it or you just not questioning nothing, you can focus on that for a specific amount of time and that'll start making you money. And if you can make money from your passion, then you don't have to. You think about how hard you would go, whether it's sports, whether it's content, whether it's anything, music. If you're making money from that, and you can actually become an entrepreneur from your own career path of what you love, which you can. A lot of people, for some reason, feel like they can't, and that's why they get jobs and stuff. A job is good. I'm not saying not to have one, but it's possible. So many people think it's not. And I want to get back to that crab in a barrel I was talking about. And that's really an old saying. I don't know if y'all... I'm going to break that down just because there might be people who don't know what I'm talking about. Crabs in a barrel is like when crabs are getting ready to be eaten. If one's about to escape, another crab will grab its leg and pull it back in the bucket. Because crabs are selfish. They're like, if one crab is going to go out, you're going out with me. That's how crabs think. And crabs in a bucket, in a barrel, that's how I was feeling when I'm explaining to them, yo, I'm getting ready to leave. They're like, giving me all this stuff to like, yo, man, you shouldn't. Oh, and someone even said, well, he'll be back, all this other stuff. In my head, I'm never returning. Like, I put my 2 weeks in. That was me being respectful towards them, towards the company that hired me. Because realistically, I don't plan on coming back. And I really could just be done right now and just walk out knowing that I never have to worry about that again and that I'm going to actually focus on myself. I could have just did that, but I didn't. You know, I'm appreciative of the opportunity I was given when I needed it. So I'm not going to just turn my back on that. Even though I know a company in 10 seconds would do the same thing to me. Hey, man, I'm not going to lie. We got a lot of turnovers going on. We're going to have to let you go. Gone immediately. I'm already knowing. But I'm a man of principle, so I'm going to thug it out. But yeah, crabs in the barrel, that's the energy I was getting. Like, yo, he's really leaving, this and that. Like, and of course, it's a switch. It's a change. We've been doing the same thing for over a year together, and now I'm leaving, and it's unexpected, right? It was unexpected leave. It just happened out of nowhere. It was unexpected for me. I didn't know I was going to put my 2 weeks in yesterday. It just happened. But I feel like it was good because now I have that freedom to focus on what I want to do. And in the event, which it won't because I don't think that way. I'm not a negative person. I always... I'm going to be confident in myself regardless of the situation. But in the event it doesn't work out, there's literally ample opportunity to do anything, right? And another great example I'm going to give y'all and why I know this is like all has meaning to it. When I started the job, I had nothing. No money, no nothing. I was broke. I just need something. I'm leaving the job with the same amount of money. It's not like I'm some multi-billionaire overnight. Like, I'm not. So it's not like I have some crazy racks saved up. I don't. The spending habit balances out. That's why money management is so important. You either make ample amount of money or spend a significantly less amount of money than you make. And both are hard. So it is what it is. Like, I'm really making this for people who are on the fence about, oh, I want to quit my job, but I'm nervous, whatever. If you're nervous about anything, that's a good sign because you're not supposed to feel reassured 24/7. Like that's what entrepreneurship is. It's not knowing how much you're gonna make next month. It's not knowing what's gonna happen, how if your company's gonna drop, this and that. There's ups and downs. There's highs and lows in entrepreneurship. That's why it's entrepreneurship. But in that job that you're seeking comfort in, oh, it's definitely comfortable. You know you're going to get your consistent paycheck every single week. You know you are. But there's a sacrifice in that you're not really seeing past all the BS. And that's the time that you're giving away. Right? I know I didn't have enough time to focus on content, to focus on working out, being healthy, being in shape, spending time with family and friends. You can't balance it all. Getting a girl, you can't balance all of that. So you have to pick and choose and nitpick. And I decided to drop the job because now I have more time to focus on myself. There's no excuse now. Oh, I don't want to edit, man. I'm tired. Why? You're sitting around the crib all day. You have no excuse. And if that's still not enough to motivate you, then you gotta dig a little deeper. But yeah, that's probably gonna be the end of the video. I'm not gonna make it too much longer. I just really want to get into this because it just was a good video concept idea to me, I thought, and it really bothered me that I don't want to say waste because everything's a learning process, but I spent about a year and a half of my life doing something that was really pointless and meaningless, and I learned a lot from it. So I'm not gonna say it was meaningless and pointless, but it just showed me that like the idea of comfort is so much more dangerous than just working, just putting in the work. Because if you had 100% guarantee that something was going to happen or work out for you, you wouldn't feel that nervousness. And trying to avoid that nervousness is what's going to hold you back, because you need that to elevate, right? The minute I put my 2 weeks in, right, everything just started feeling a little different. Like, I'm making videos now, I'm doing all that stuff. I haven't been consistent in a while. Now I have no reason to not be. And I'm going to lock back in on that. So if I made this far in the video, appreciate y'all. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know in the comments if y'all can understand what I'm trying to say, or if you agree with me or not. And yeah, catch y'all next upload. Stay safe, stay blessed. Keep God in your life. I'll catch y'all later.